All right, what's up, party people? I'm taking over the episode this week. This is Swan. I've got Perry in the other room, but as of right now, I am pouring some blind samples for him. This week, we're going to test his real love for Wild Turkey 101. I don't know. He might pick it out. This is one of the regulars. I mean, he pretty much keeps a handle of this at his house on a regular basis. But we're going to be trying some other high rye. I do that in quotations because Wild Turkey is so high rye. And we're going to see how these stand up. We're going to have some New Riff, some Old Granddad Bottled and Bond, some Nulu Batch 2, some Fighting Cock, and of course Wild Turkey. So in just a second, we will start blinding him with those. Welcome back to another This Is My Bourbon podcast. This is Swan. I'm taking over this week. It's hostile.
Give me my mic back, Swan.
No, absolutely not. This is my week. This is my time to shine, Perry. All right. How's it been going, man?
Dude, I am doing really, really well. It's been a week.
It's been a week.
It's been a week, but
that's a good way to put it.
I'm doing well. Baby's super happy and fun and cute right now, so I'm enjoying the heck out of that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm coming to your house and interviewing you. I don't know if that usually happens.
That's happened once before, but I can't get into it.
Okay. Yes. Sounds dangerous.
I'll tell you off air.
Alrighty, man. Alrighty. Well, we're going to get straight into it, man. We got a lot to drink on today.
We do. You've poured up, 5 different samples in front of us?
Yeah, I put you to the test to make sure you got 10 Glencairns.
You initially told me we needed 8 glasses. Yeah, and then last minute you're like, nope, we needed a 10th.
Yeah, it's like a Hydra thing going on this week. Cut off another head, another one shows up. Don't worry about it. Either way, man, what have you been drinking on recently?
Well, let's see. I put out kind of an APB last couple of weeks for some more Elijah Craig barrel proof because my supply was running very low and I was very sad about it. And surprisingly enough, I got sent one bottle from Don Nishida, who is one of our longtime listeners, one of our favorite people. And I also picked up another one from a local Kentucky guy after I put out the call, but also got a C920, I believe, and an A120 as well. But I'm trying to think. I picked up this Jack Daniel's single barrel proof.
Nice.
Recently as well.
I love those bottles.
We need to have some of this here in a little bit.
Absolutely.
We're feeling like. But I also got a 4 Roses Small Batch Select, which is,
beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, nothing like super out of this world. The stories behind the Elijah Craig barrel proofs are the biggest ones for me this week. So I have a couple. I get to actually have one on reserve for the first time in a while. I mean, before the pandemic, I actually get to have one on reserve. What about you, Swan? What have you been drinking recently?
What have I been drinking, man? That's a good question. It's a little bit of everything. I've kind of realized that I've got so many bottles that are like a fifth of the way down.
Yeah.
And I just needed to just off them.
Right.
So like I had some like Hotel Tango, just the 2-year that I was like, it's time for this thing to go, man. I need another bottle in my life. They've got those specialty tins going out and I need to see if I can get one.
2021 needs to be the year that we have Hotel Tango on the show.
Absolutely, man.
I want you to be on that episode as well.
Yeah.
Because, excuse me, you don't normally sit down with me when I do interviews.
I don't, no.
But I really, really want you to be a part of that one.
So I can gush over their packaging to their face?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That. And, because
yeah,
you should be around for some interviews.
I should, man.
You did a great job at Bourbon on the Banks.
Yeah, I need to be around for a few more. You're right. I need to also pick up their special release 2. That's like a 6-year Dickel. I've heard it's great. But, I mean, you just hear the Dickel and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. Why wouldn't I just pick up a Dickel pick? But, hey, man, the packaging's got me.
Do what you want.
And the juice inside is the one that's going to keep me there.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be grabbing one of those soon. Also had, what else did I finish off? Oh, I finished off some Wild Turkey 101. Shocker there.
I finished off a handle last night.
Yeah,
actually.
Some rare breed. Had some rare breed. A couple of Knob
you go.
Creek picks. I killed 2 that I had at home. They were the same pick. I had been working on them and not realizing I had 2 open. Just good stuff, man.
I know that you said Knob Creek, but for whatever reason, my brain kind of did a backflip.
Yeah.
And heard you say rare breed picks.
I wish.
It made me cry a little bit inside.
Yeah.
But maybe someday.
Maybe one day. Yeah. All right. And as always, we move on to the flying blind section.
Flying blind.
Yeah. So I'm going to do an extended flying blind.
You are.
Yeah.
We have a lot of whiskey in front of us.
We do, man. So most flights are like A through C or D. We're doing E. We're going all 5.
Yeah, buddy.
We're going all 5.
Yeah, buddy. Happy Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. I requested to do this as early as possible.
You did.
Yeah,
you did indeed.
If I need to sober up and watch Ron Swanson do Ron Swanson things, I can. All right. So we're going to start with A. I've got this from left to right, and we're going to be starting with that one. Oh, man.
It's a really good nose.
Yeah, I can honestly tell you this is going to be difficult.
So are we also ranking
Oh yeah,
all these?
We're
Oh,
ranking
good.
these. Yeah,
That's good.
I'm just gonna blow this at the end.
I'm not stressed at all.
Listen, see, you get to do this every week with me, and I get to be like, I don't know what it is. It's got Jim Beam qualities and some caramel and vanilla, and then it's just like, this is blank. But today, you get to be that person.
It smells a little lighter. Like it doesn't smell quite like it has the proof that other products.
Oh, yeah. So let me put this. I am going to spoil just a tad bit. These are all relatively the same proof. So we're getting something very similar across the board.
Oh, that sneaks up on you at the end.
It does, man.
First blind flight of 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't done a blind flight since last year.
Since last year. Oh, look at the dad jokes on this one. All right. So that one's pretty good. It's got a little bit of brown sugar stuff going on in it.
Yeah.
I like that. Just nice, easy, plain.
It does have quite a bit of heat towards the back of the palate.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
The finish is really like syrupy too. That's nice.
It is, man.
That's nice.
That's very nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah, so this this little blind section is going to go a little faster than normal just because I like to do the comparative stuff. It's going to be, you'll hear the gears turning when we get through with all 5 because I poured enough to kind of compare back and forth. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on to B, man.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Ooh, that's different.
That is really citrusy.
Yeah, it is.
That's
almost like a pre-made cocktail.
I was gonna say, it reminds me a lot of like a citrusy cocktail.
Yeah.
We caught up with one of my best friends last night on Zoom. I guess it was FaceTime, and he was like, "I'm running really low on my bar supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I need it, but I want to make a cocktail." And we were like, "Okay, what do you have?" He brought out spiced rum, a coffee liqueur, something in a green bottle. It kind of looked like a San Pellegrino bottle, but it wasn't. And bitters. We were like,
just mix it.
You do not have a lot going on there.
Just mix it all together.
And he made it, and like he took the first drink, and he was like, "This is a really bad cocktail." He was super unhappy with it.
I don't doubt that nothing about that sounds fun.
No.
I'm gonna go into this kind of pre-mixed cocktail.
I need to.
nose.
I need to as well.
Oh, that's different.
I'm taking a big Kentucky chew on that one.
Yeah, it kind of demands it almost. That's weird. It wants to really sit mid-palate.
Wow, it's viscous. Whew. I'm picking up oddly enough, like a baked bread note. Almost kind of yeasty.
Yeah, no, I'm getting that too, man. It's
and it's really hanging around on the middle of the palate.
This is gonna sound like a bad thing, and by no means is it. But have you ever had like something you've cooked, like a roll or something, but it's not quite done?
Yep, that's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah,
and a yeast roll too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind it, but I don't see myself reaching for it.
I don't either. I do like the citrusiness of it as well. It seems to kind of layer itself well with some of the baked bread qualities. Overall, it's kind of, it's good. I'm just kind of like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. I think I like the first one better so far. The best part is, I'm going to be honest, I poured this like 40 minutes ago probably. I've already forgotten. So
fantastic.
Thank goodness I put this in my phone.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the level of quality that comes when Swan does a hostile takeover.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is my episode.
Except I'm still doing the news.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll do the news after. I wanted to kind of break it up a little bit. Oh, this one's very similar to the first one.
Oh, I like that nose a lot.
Oh, I think I'd go back and forth on which one I'd like depending on the day. Between this one and A.
I agree. Oh, I inhaled too much. I think right now I like the nose on A a little bit better than I do C. This is still a great nose, though.
It is, man. It is.
Oh,
that is peanutty.
Oh, is this that lineup of stuff that Chad gave you from all the Jim Beam line?
No.
Which one of these is Red Stag?
No. No. No,
He gave me the cards for it.
He did. Yeah, no, that's in my car. We can do that.
We're not doing that today. Maybe after you get back from your little sabbatical.
Yeah. Wow, that's different, man.
I like that a lot.
I do too. That's tasty.
It's really, really mouth coating.
It is.
Which is to say the mouthfeel is nice. I mean, it's just very viscous. It's got this dark chocolate peanut butter ball quality to it.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so good.
It is very good.
This is a front runner for me for the time being.
I also, just another spoiler here, I'm kind of layering them in as we go. I made sure you haven't had any of these within probably the last 6 months.
Oh, wow.
With the exception of probably one or two. So, majority you've not had.
All right.
And I think there's probably at least one in here you've never had. So
I believe it.
Yeah, we got some new ones in there.
I'll move down to D. I apologize.
You moved on to D? Okay, yeah, I was talking too much.
This one's a little lighter on the nose.
Yeah, this one's got kind of some vanilla, though. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's just like overwhelmingly that.
It's very watery as well.
Yeah.
If I really dig, I can pick up some citrus notes. But that's it's the lightest of the four so far.
Vanilla and like a faint, like kind of appley fruit kind of thing going on.
And there is a bit of there's a bit of alcohol or ethanol, I guess, on the nose, but it's not overly present.
No. All right, I'm going to go in for the palate on this one.
I'm perplexed by the nose. Like, I just kind of want to keep investigating it. But at the same time, like, I am interested to see how it changes once it gets to the palate.
Oh. That is different. So D is interesting.
It's really savory up front.
Yeah, that is nothing like the nose.
Well, the finish is weird.
Yeah.
The finish is kind of sour.
Just a tad, yeah.
Like a kind of like a green apple.
It's almost like the peel of a green apple.
Yeah.
But if you just got a mouthful of that.
You just took instead of biting into the apple, you balled up the
You just
peel
skinned it and just ate
and
the
just
entire peel?
ate that like an apple?
Yeah.
That's what that feels like for sure. Man, it's really, really bizarre the way that this kind of roller coasters through its palate. Because like I said, it starts out super savory, but then it just it takes this dip in the middle where it goes sweet. And then, like I said, the finish is just that sour green apple peel ball.
All right. We got one more left, so I'll layer in another one here, another hint. All of these are roughly 100 proof.
I believe that.
roughly.
I believe that. C would have been the only one that I would have had a hard time believing you on, just because of how viscous it is.
It feels like it's like 105, 110.
I would say, yeah, 110, 114 or so. Excuse me. It almost reads like early times bottled and bond.
Yeah,
in a way.
A little bit. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Which I need to grab a couple bottles of those.
You do, man. Good old Sazerac.
Between that and the Heaven Hill 6-year green label.
Our friends are leaving us, Barry.
They are.
Our friends are leaving us.
It's like the end of summer camp almost, except it's like your friend. No, I'm not going to say that. That got real dark before I was going to.
What kind of summer camps are you attending? There,
No. It wasn't going to end well for our friends at summer camp. Let's just say that.
Oh my gosh. All right, so we're moving on.
It wasn't my fault. I wasn't the one who was committing the crime.
What are you justifying here?
I'm just justifying that I made a really weird analogy in my head, and then I didn't want to get it out.
I feel like you're covering up for some summer
I'm
camp
not
you went
covering
to.
anything up.
Ooh, okay. This last one's way different.
Oh, my.
It's almost got like a slight corn syrup nose to it.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of like baking spice layered in underneath.
Is this mellow corn?
No. No.
Have you had mellow corn?
I have, yeah.
It's good.
It's perfectly
I
fine.
really don't mind it at all.
Don't expect like the best thing you've ever had, but I mean, it's just tasty.
No.
Oh man,
It's
see, I
savory,
could get
too.
lost in this nose.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a great nose.
All right, here we go. It's not bad.
That's different.
I like it, but I don't know what I'm drinking.
I don't know what we're drinking either.
Not your thing.
This is not my thing.
Not your thing.
The finish is pretty nice. Up front, it tastes really young, though.
Yeah,
Because there's not a lot of depth to it.
no.
I would probably guess that this is anywhere from 36 to 48 months, if I had to guess. And I'm not being tested here or anything, but
No.
it really doesn't read like an older product.
It doesn't. It's got kind of like a, I don't know, this one more so than the rest of the four. When it leaves your palate, it has like a coating, and then you start to get a lot of nice flavors once it's completely out of your, palate.
Yeah.
But it's not a finish. It's just like the lingering flavor. It's
Well, I will say there was a bit of a finish that kind of opened up,
yeah,
but it wasn't what I was expecting.
no. So let's go ahead and eliminate two right now. It's out of the ones that we had. I think if I had to eliminate two, it would probably be like B and E.
Yeah.
B and
E being in. Oh, there's a nice coffee finish actually that I'm.
It keeps getting better. I'm gonna have to go for a second sip.
It does, and I want to take another sip as well before I decide that I don't want to include it.
The nose got more interesting.
It drinks more like a blended Scotch
It does.
than
yeah.
anything. I don't.
Some people are gonna love that. I just don't know if that's for us.
It's not for me. I don't hate it, but it's yeah. There's just not enough going on.
Dude, the finish and the like after finish, if you could even call it that, are great.
Mm-hmm. But up front, it's no bueno.
Yeah.
I took Spanish. Can you tell?
Yeah. Yeah.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
All right. Well, so which ones are you eliminating?
I'm gonna go. I can already say D would be my last place, or E would be my last place. Rather.
Okay.
I apologize. B has opened up a lot on the nose. I know that wasn't the one that we were the most fond of
That's
at
the
the beginning.
citrus heavy one.
Yeah. I would probably agree with you and go B. Let me taste it again though, just to confirm. It's not bad. I just think that the A, C, and D outshine this one by a fair bit. So I would go E, last place, B, second last. And I don't really know exactly how I feel yet about A, C, and D as far as ranking.
Well, let's go ahead and get B and E out of the way. I'll pull out what these are.
Sure.
So, E, our last place, into the backpack of truth, is Nulu. So this is their batch 2. It's 101 proof. So it is 100 plus proof. It's usually kind of a redeeming quality for us. But for this one specifically, it's the first time I've had it. Didn't know if it was going to be any good. I like their single barrels significantly better.
I have to agree. Is there an age statement on that bottle?
There is not. No.
Not even on the back label?
No. No, on the back. No, 4 to 6 MGP bourbon.
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
That does not read like it's that old.
No, but they do pick a lot of sweeter barrels, and maybe it just doesn't lend itself to the flavor profile we want at 101 proof. Maybe we need the cask strength version.
I mean, I guess I did throw out 48 months, so that's 4 years. But even still, I would have erred more on it being 36. Yeah, honestly.
I mean, that being said, their single barrels and their finishing stuff is fantastic. I think they're going to be one to watch this year.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I wanted more from the single or from this batched product. All right, next one, B, Fighting Cock.
Fighting Cock.
Absolutely.
Well,
this is the non-age stated.
Yeah.
I've got some of the age stated, but that didn't seem quite fair since you can't go grab it on the shelf.
Mine's not so full anymore either.
Yeah.
But again, I like it. It's just there are other things in this lineup that I like better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think Heaven Hill needs to, they just need to keep doing their nice 94 proof Elijah Craig and their Evan Williams. They do great with those. It's just this Fighting Cock release gets overlooked, and I get it now.
Well, I do too, especially if you were to put it up against just standard Turkey 101.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that's fair.
I understand what they were going for with it. I just don't think that it's the biggest win in my book. I did do a review of Fighting Cock with the guys from Film and Whiskey, though.
Oh, okay.
About mid last year, I think. We also reviewed Spinal Tap, the movie. So nice. It was a really fun episode. I talked about it on the show before. I mentioned it on social media as well. Go and check it out because those guys are great, and more to come about them in the future.
Absolutely. So we've got A, C, and D left.
A, C, and D.
All right, let's go ahead and eliminate another one. Yeah, this is where
it gets tough.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay.
I'm gonna have to taste through these again. I'm actually gonna go D to DCA.
Okay.
In reverse order this time.
Oh man. Okay. D is actually getting a lot better on the nose.
It's gotten better on the palate, too.
It's opening up, man.
That's good.
Some of the heat's kind of coming out now.
Dang it, that is tasty.
Oh, this is going to get difficult, man.
It's not going to be easy.
No. Oh, come on, man.
Oh, C.
C's just... That's hard to beat, man.
That's so good.
That's hard to beat.
That is so good. A, I think, is the most well-rounded from nose to palate to finish. I mean, I need to go back and taste it again. But in retrospect, I think this is the one that's kind of stood out the most as being manageable, I would say.
I think as far as like cohesive nose to profile, it's probably one of the better ones. But I think I actually enjoy some of the more jutting flavor profile out of some of the other ones.
I can see that.
It's just this one's cohesive throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. I think I'm going to eliminate D.
D? Okay.
Yeah. I think C is significantly better. And like I said, A is just incredibly well-rounded to me. So D's not, excuse me, not, I'm not opposed to it by any means, but I think these other two just have a lot more to show for.
That's fair. All right, so we're eliminating D.
We're eliminating D. Let's find out what it is as Swan reaches into the bag of truth and pulls out a bottle of New Riff.
New Riff.
It's the Bottled and Bond.
Yeah, this is just their standard release, man.
It's been a while since I've had it.
It has, yeah. It holds up well.
It does. And again, I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But there's just these two products.
Yeah.
I would have more than likely picked any day of the week over.
Yeah.
So
now the hard part. This is the real hard part.
I'm gonna have to go back and forth between the two, and I have quarter of an ounce on both of them.
Yeah, and I can get you more of whatever you want once we decide.
Well,
or if you want to leave the room, it just depends. But
I do not trust you to go full unbridled reign of control.
Yeah, I'll just start screaming into your mic, and then it'll be Perry's audio.
Because the editing would just be a nightmare for me.
See, I'm gonna have to look on my phone which one's which, because this is what I've got confused.
Okay, I stand by the comments that I made earlier. A has the better nose.
Okay,
I think A definitely is more pronounced. Mm-hmm. C is definitely there, but it seems a little bit muddier than A does. I don't know if there's a bright note that A has that C doesn't have, but I definitely prefer the nose on A.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say I'm inclined to agree with you, just because, like I pointed out time and time again, brown sugar is like a sweet spot for me. Mm-hmm. I like that. The C is more like kind of dry peanutty.
It is.
But I feel like they would serve different purposes. Like
I agree.
Some of them I would like to have with stuff, and others I'd like to have by itself.
C has mellowed out significantly since we first had it.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's still got plenty of flavor.
Still has plenty of flavor.
But it's definitely lost the heat that was there when we first tried it in this flight. I think after sipping it again, it's clear to me that A is the winner.
All right.
Between these two.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull out C. We'll see what we got here.
Let's go for it. Old Granddad. I knew it had to be a Jim Beam product.
Has to be, man.
There was no way that this was not a nutty Jim Beam bottle.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I think you've probably guessed based on the other bottles we've had in this lineup what the last one is.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that this one's not going to surprise me too much.
You want to go ahead and ruin it for everybody?
Is it Turkey 101?
It is Turkey 101. All right, so this was a test for Perry. I wanted to see, because we've got a lot of relatively close things to Wild Turkey 1 on the shelves here in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Does it really hold up, or is it just is that the name that people associate with? But man, it just holds up.
It really does.
Man. It just holds up.
I am happy that this happened the way that it did.
If I ran this concept by you, you'd be like, it's too high risk, man. It's too high risk. I can't tell people that something might be above Turkey 101.
No. This was perfect.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm digging my own grave by saying none of this was, set up by me. This was all Swan's doing.
100%, man.
But I am elated to know that I have some form of validation through this blind flight.
Absolutely.
Dude, I honestly, it just blows me away every time I have it that it's such a quality drink. Mm-hmm. At the price, at the proof, roughly, of course, 6 to 8 years. When I do tours, and I haven't done one in a while, but this is what, if people ask, what's your go-to bourbon? What's your favorite bourbon? I say this, and it's for the exact same reasons that I just laid out for you. And actually, 6 to 8 is not entirely correct. It's more like 8 to 12 at this point, but there's probably some 6-year thrown in there just to taste. But first off, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I will say there was a point where I thought maybe we were doing the Remus blind?
No.
Because you
That's
said
too easy.
Yeah, I know because you did just bring it up.
Yeah.
I was like, Swan's he's maybe messing with me a little bit, but
Yeah.
this was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy that this went out for me.
I mean, all of these are competitors, for Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, of course.
I can't think of a single other bourbon where somebody is just fighting for that crown spot.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. There's nobody that's got that kind of competition. Now, Buffalo Trace, you can say, well, it's a 90 to 100 proofer. People are fighting for that spot. Everyone's got an expression at that. That's that's there. But the high rye content of, I'm putting it in quotations. High rye.
It's like, what, 14% rye, 16% or something like that?
But that rye spice does come through on Wild Turkey.
It does.
Everybody's kind of fighting for that spot. And, I mean, nobody's doing it better than Turkey, man.
Oh, I totally agree. I will say, there was a point, too, with the Old Granddad where I thought that it might be Knob Creek 100.
Yeah.
I mean, I came really close to just saying that's what it was.
Yeah, now I went with OGD 100, like the bonded, because it is a direct competitor, at least in my mind, for Wild Turkey 101.
Well, it's cheaper than the Knob Creek small batch as well.
It is, yeah.
So I think it fits more into that bracket that Turkey 101 is in.
Absolutely.
But I could understand if you threw Knob Creek small batch into this flight, but I think you were correct in throwing in the Old Granddad. So tell me, I need a little bit of clarification on something.
Yeah.
You texted me and said that this was one of the more expensive lineups that you had crafted for the show.
Yeah, no,
Is it because of the new riff and the Nulu?
Yeah, they're significantly more expensive. But that being said, I needed to put some craft that was available in Kentucky. Both you can purchase more and more frequently in Kentucky.
For sure.
The Fighting Cock's on the shelf all the time. Old Granddad Bonded's on the shelf all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Turkey 101, believe it or not, it is on the shelf all the time. But these other two are starting to get better distribution, and you may see them around. But I wanted to add some craft in there just to kind of throw you for a loop.
For sure.
And I mean, we've said some things about the Fighting Cock and the Nulu that I almost feel bad about now. But
I kind of do too.
But let's put it this way, guys. You had the stiffest competition to go up against.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean...
it's tough to come out on top when you got Turkey 101
even in the bracket, man. Yeah,
for sure.
It's hard. But I mean, they all do great with their own expressions.
We should do this again, but with some of the mid-tier premium products.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd love to do one with like Rare Breed, OGD 114.
Exactly. Small Batch Select from Four Roses,
I
think would fit into that as well. It's the lower proof of the three that we mentioned. But.
Yeah, but we'll give it some time for us to both forget. So at least by the time we leave today, and then we'll come back to that.
I asked Swan on the pregame chats how often he forgets everything that we do on the podcast once he leaves.
Yeah, no, as soon as I get home, it's gone. That being said, I blended them all together, and it's kind of awesome.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's in my Perry Pour glass.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis Gintz. Also, speaking of glassware, some of the glasses that we were drinking out of today are this is my bourbon glass, Glencairns, which are available at whiskeyambitions.com.
Absolutely, man.
Your home.
Good plug.
For whiskey-related merchandise and apparel.
Absolutely.
On the internet. Thank you, Chad and Sarah.
All right. Well, now that we've kind of ruined our complete format and Swan's doing his normal takeover, now we got the news.
We do.
And there is so much of it this week, man.
We have a significant amount of news this week, and I am really, really excited to get into this. There's nothing really too dour either. I know that last week we were talking about Willie Pratt, but everything's kind of feel good this week, which is a really good way for us to launch into 2021. And, we're not going to talk about some of the other news that happened in this past week. That's not what we're here to talk about.
No.
What we are here to talk about, though, is that the FDA is no longer charging distilleries for the hand sanitizer.
Thank goodness.
That they made in the wake of the pandemic. First off, stupid.
That is so
The
stupid,
fact that
man.
this ever was a thing that we had to listen to, people were considering, just makes me want to throw my head through a concrete wall.
Dude, I mean, just think about it. I'll be honest with you. No one liked the stuff that came from the distilleries, but it was a necessity because every single person went up to one of those
What do you
little...
mean? You were trying the...
No,
Don't
no.
drink the hand sanitizer.
I know. But I'm sure it's happened to everyone where you've got a little squirt bottle, you go to get the stuff out of it, and you're expecting kind of like a gel, and then all of a sudden it just shoots out like a rocket all over you because it's just
It
complete
looks like you
water.
peed your pants.
Yeah. I mean, but it was a necessity. You know, the distilleries put out a lot of stuff. I mean, even when I worked for Kroger, they sent us just tons and tons and tons of like just the Heaven Hill sanitizer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had let me pull it up because I want to give this guy credit. I had somebody send me on, here it is, John Spalding. He sent me on Instagram a picture from his local Papa John's of a bottle of Castle and Key hand sanitizer.
oh, and they're huge.
They're massive.
They're massive, man.
But I said my worlds are colliding.
I mean, the Castle and Key ones are so big, it makes you want to just dump it into a 5-gallon bucket and stick your whole hand in and pull it right back out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're massive.
Yeah, they are. So anyway, this is really cool to see and really nice to see that this overreach was prevented.
Yeah.
But just don't do this. Don't do this again, please. This is one of the more asinine things that we could have left 2020 with.
Yeah.
It's good that it's over, and I'm really happy that we didn't have to have the conversation one week about how stupid this was, and then the next week we could say it's been resolved. We just get it all done with all at once. It's been resolved. Thank God that somebody took the initiative to ignore this or to right this wrong, but just ridiculous, man.
It is.
Just ridiculous.
It's over with now, though.
It is over with.
Thank goodness.
You know what else is... No, that's a terrible segue. You know what's not over, though?
What's that?
Is the fact that Kentucky distilleries can now ship bourbon
Oh, dude, I'm so pumped.
and sell it online.
I am, man. I'm so excited.
It's the best. I am so excited about this. You know what this means? This means we don't have to go all the way to Bardstown to get an Elijah Craig grenade.
Yes.
Maybe.
There is I looked into this pretty heavily, and I wanted to say there is only one downside to it.
Okay.
So distillery-only exclusives, if they don't offer it on the website for whatever reason, they used to have to ship like 10% or something like that to retailers. And so occasionally, like the New Riff stuff that was distillery exclusive would just kind of show up at your local shop for whatever reason.
Right.
At least here in Kentucky.
And that would happen with Heaven Hill as well.
Yeah, and I think they're able to justify that 10% being shipped now. Like they can just ship it.
I'll be honest, I'm not totally fussed by that.
I just, as long as I'm able to get a bottle, that's what I want.
Well, that, and also walking into a store and seeing something that you weren't expecting sitting behind the counter. That's a really fun moment.
But how often does it really happen, I guess?
Well, to be fair, I haven't done as much hunting as I used to, so it hasn't happened to me in a while. But when it did happen, it was really cool, and I really, really enjoyed those moments.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it was just seeing like an old Fitzbottom and Bond decanter that wasn't supposed to be there.
That's the first time it happened to me. I'd walk in and I'm just like, Old Fitz 14, the first release.
It happened in Richmond all the time.
What are you doing here, buddy? Yeah.
Anyway. No, I'm very excited for it. I understand that there are downsides to it, but I think
I'm pumped, man.
I
don't
too.
care. None of the downsides other than that matter to me. Ship it to my house. It's great.
Saves me from going to the store.
Absolutely.
So let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, the Kentucky Bourbon Festival has announced its dates for the 2021 events.
Oh, I hope.
September 16th through well, I mean, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But September 16th through 19th, 2021.
I'm so ready to get back to events, man.
Oh, look at this. The nonprofit Kentucky Bourbon Festival's board of directors also appointed its 2021 executive committee. Number one on the list, David Mandel, co-founder of Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Nice.
That is awesome. Congratulations,
Nice.
David. He has always been one of my favorite people to get to see and chat with. And, when he was still with Bardstown Bourbon Company, a great point of contact. And just always so happy to talk with you and welcoming and just incredibly inviting to come into his space and just say, what do you want to do?
Yeah. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
And another plus side, that man puts on some of the best events. He really does.
Totally does.
Yeah. And it always has good food, which I'm already hungry. I mean,
We're having steak for dinner tonight.
oh gosh.
We're having here's an early tips and bits. Prosciutto wrapped tenderloin.
I'm getting Taco Bell. Still excited.
Because that's all your palate can appreciate at this point.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit on the pregame chats, but Ezra Brooks has announced a new, Luxco has announced a new Ezra Brooks product at 99 proof.
I can appreciate that.
I don't understand the proof.
I don't either, but I can
Really?
appreciate it.
I mean, like, I would have expected a 100 proof product more so than 99.
Yeah.
Maybe just those extra couple drops of water were what sent it to the field goal. I don't know.
Who knows, man?
Or the end zone. Whatever.
Sports, they're hard.
I don't do sports
Yeah.
much.
I just I don't know. I really liked the Ezra Distillers collection, like when I could find it. And I mean, I just want more of those. Those picks were great.
Yeah.
I hope that's going to be a continuing thing, that we see more and more of those picks.
Yeah. It is being released. I mean, it's basically out now. Again, 99 proof, $25 a bottle, and widely available. So
Nice. I'll give them that, man. Their distribution's great.
yeah, that's really the only release we have to talk about this week too, unless you want to talk about a couple of scotches.
No, we do have that the Warehouse C.
Yeah, those are in the TTB
The
labels.
TTB filings. Yeah, we'll just move on over to those. What
There
a
we go.
transition.
Wow, heck of a transition there,
Yeah.
Swan. So the Colonel Taylor Warehouse C bottled and bond 10-year-old bourbon. Okay. Let's dive into this one.
Absolutely.
Why don't we?
Yeah. Thoughts, feelings, concerns, Barry?
Thoughts? Okay. Feelings? Avoiding them? Concerns?
All of them.
All of them, exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just another Buffalo Trace release we're never going to see. I mean,
It is.
I pretty much as soon as they did that Amaranth release, I've yet to see any of them.
I mean, I've seen a bottle in person a couple of times and gotten to taste it once or twice, but it
In
was-
person
it was
and
fine.
attainable, though.
Yeah, this is not going to be attainable.
No.
My biggest concern with this, and it's one that is mostly shared by the bourbon community at large, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what the price is on this, it's going to be flipped for a significant profit.
Yeah.
Because not only is it a limited Taylor release, but it's also a limited Taylor release from the same warehouse that the tornado survivor came from.
Yeah.
So if we were to do a study in taterology or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
this would be like example A. You know,
Well, I mean, it's literally just bourbon fan service.
it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
When you put it that way, it's hard to get mad because I love when Marvel does fan service, but then when Bourbon does it, I'm just looking at my wallet like, why aren't you bigger, buddy? Like it's
And looking at your watch saying, why do I have to work 40 hours a week?
yeah. I mean, it's just rough, man. I mean, I could literally look at this thing and think I could dump an entire week's paycheck into this. That's hard. That's really hard.
No.
But I mean, they're getting to the point that the A.H. Taylor stuff is just not meant for us, man. It's not. I mean, think about it. It's getting more expensive and harder to find than the BTAC releases. I go into every year thinking there's a chance I could get some BTAC this year if it happens. And with this one, I didn't even look for the 18-year marriage.
No.
It came and went. I never touched it.
And to be honest, too, I think that I would probably prefer to have Taylor Barrel Proof over most of the antique collection.
Yeah, I think it would depend on my mood between that, George T. Stagg, and I mean, that's technically just another iteration. Yeah, and then the William LaRue Weller.
So here's a here's a question for you, though. We've seen all of this innovation, and I use the word innovation quite lightly because it's basically just, what can we throw together for a new E.H. Taylor release coming out of Buffalo Trace? What's to stop them from basically taking their high rye mash bill and making a limited Taylor product out of it? And why haven't we seen it yet? Because we know that there are people who fawn over the Mash Bill 2 releases. Rock Hill Farms, Blanton's, Hancock's. We did the last episode that you did the takeover on, we did that blind flight of them all. I feel like if it doesn't happen next year, it'll probably happen within the next 5 years. But I am really surprised that they haven't taken that bizarre leap forward yet.
No, I honestly don't understand why they haven't done like a barrel-proof straight rye.
Oh, that's a good point too.
I mean, that's an existing E.H. Taylor release that they could just modify with age and proof and put it out. And, I mean, it would literally be as simple, if they wanted it to be, and people would buy it, as just not watering down the existing product.
Yeah, less work for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that I want to see more uniqueness from Buffalo Trace, more innovation. I don't think that Taylor is the brand to use it for.
It's a very heritage-heavy brand.
It is.
Yeah. It'd be like doing a wine-finished Elmer T. Lee. People would just be like, why?
But they would still buy it.
They would, but they would also ask why.
Yeah.
Like, it would be a big point of contention with a lot of reviewers. Like,
for sure.
Why does this exist?
It is. It would be a big why from me as well. Let's see what else. Oh, the other big one.
What's that?
Wild Turkey 1.
Oh,
the newest
man.
Master's Keep that's going to be coming out. Toasted oak finish at 101 proof. Rickhouse G.
I'm excited about
so
this one.
pumped.
The 17-year for some people was a little bit of a letdown. I liked it. I thought it was oaky, but I didn't think it really commanded the price tag. This one, I want to know how long it sat in a toasted barrel for. I don't think they've disclosed it. But I've actually had a bunch of toasted barrel stuff recently. One was finished for 4 to 6 weeks. One was finished for 6 months. It makes a significant difference.
It does.
I mean, I want to know how long they're doing it for. That's going to be the big key thing for me.
I totally agree. And I think this is the perfect avenue for them to do something a little bit more experimental with the Master's Keep. I do fall into that camp of I liked the 17-year Bottled and Bond at first, but like we said last week, it opened up not in the way that I would have preferred for it to.
Yeah.
Where it just got kind of briny. But I'm excited for this, and honestly, probably going to pick up a bottle.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one I'll probably splurge on this year.
It'll be interesting to compare it to the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, because they're not so far off in proof that they wouldn't have a common ground.
Yeah, we could even do a full toasted episode. I mean, Nulu's got
we may as well
multiple toasted. I mean, I've got one that's the 6 months, and I've got one that's 6 weeks. We've got the Elijah Craig toasted. We could probably get a small sample from somebody of the Michter's toasted stuff.
We know some people.
We know people. Yeah, we could get some of that and give that a try. But I'm just curious. I think the amount of time in the toasted barrel is really what dictates it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So
totally agree with that. That's all the news.
That's all the news. Yeah.
Do you want to drink something else? Review something else?
Yeah. Do you want to? We can do something different for our review.
Oh, heck yeah.
You want to do something strange and
Let's
wonderful?
do something really bizarre.
Yeah.
And this had originally been planned for our last call. So we'll do something else for last call.
Yeah. So in this one also you can toss into the news. I just found this out the other day the hard way. They are now distributing to Kentucky.
And this is Kings County, by the way.
Kings County,
we
yeah.
We didn't bring that up. So this is the Kings County Peated Bourbon. At what, like 136 proof?
Yeah, so this one in particular is it's a selection from Midtown Corks. It's 131.2 proof, aged at least 4 years.
So I'm drinking my pour out of a mini Glencairn.
Yes.
A baby Glen. Mm-hmm. Something about it has made me feel very
large, huge. Yeah. I'm a giant now. I have a small Glencairn.
I was gonna say like fancy, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Another word for fancy.
You're forced to have your pinky out with a baby Glencairn.
If you don't, you just are gripping it like a madman. Take a picture of this. We'll post it on social media for people to see. This is what it looks like when you bear grip or gorilla grip a baby Glencairn. It's the most ridiculous thing. Don't do that. It looked so weird.
Man,
I love the nose, man.
The nose is great. So this is only 4 years old, but the color on it is ridiculous.
You could have convinced me otherwise. I would have thought this was at least 10 years, maybe 12.
They got a lot of info on it. They're big on letting you know that it's an open maturation process, and they source their grains from Scotland.
Wild.
Yeah, so they do a lot of interesting stuff. And they love their high proof, man. They even tell you that they have a very specific cut range and everything. Perry took a sip. I'm waiting for a face.
That's phenomenal.
Right?
It is just peaty enough to where you don't lose the bourbon quality of it. Wow, it's hot, though.
It is hot.
It's really hot. But it just complements what you're already getting in a standard bourbon, the caramel, vanilla, and oak.
Yeah.
By just introducing the smoky flavor that it just sends it into overdrive.
It does. And, you get so much of like that almost slightly over-oaked bourbon quality on the end of the smoke. It comes in. And at 4 years, it's insane. I don't understand it.
I don't either. Wow, that is so good, though.
It is, man. It is. It's very good.
This is a palate killer, though.
Yeah, no, there's nothing else we can have tonight.
That's not true.
Oh, we can have plenty, actually. But it's just, it may alter the taste a little.
We could have some Knob Creek cast strength.
Whew. Yes, sir.
12 year.
Absolutely.
Might take you a little bit to drive home.
Yes. Yeah.
That's okay. I like this better than the New Riff Backsetter.
I do too. I actually did them side by side.
I figured you did.
The peat in whatever grains they're sourcing is significantly better. That being said, there's got to be something in that open maturation process that they boast.
Could be.
I mean, they put it on the neck tag and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they're doing it right, man.
Yeah.
They are doing it right, and I'm glad that this is finally hitting Kentucky. Now, this is a pick. It is cast strength. The one we're getting in here in Kentucky is, I think, closer to 100 proof. We tried that 2 years ago, I guess, at Bourbon on the Banks.
A year and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
And it was tasty. I mean, I stand by. It was one of the most interesting things I had that day.
Did we get him to sit down with us?
We didn't, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I want to taste some of their just regular bourbon. Their bottled and bond, a cast strength. They've got a bunch of it. But this is one of those brands that, I think is going to be trendy once it hits your area.
So there's your answer, Adam Terry.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We full circle, man.
I don't think Adam's even on Patreon anymore. So
yeah, it's all good, man. But I mean, it's great.
I like it.
I do too,
I
man.
really enjoy
Have
this.
that with your steak.
Ooh,
Yeah, right?
that's not a bad idea.
Not a
I
ton
was
of
just
the
going to go
smoke-
for rare breed, but you've convinced me.
Yeah, not a ton of that smoke comes through on the nose. I mean, it's there, but it's not nearly as apparent as it is on the back of the palate.
I am getting more of the smoke, but I think it's because I'm drinking out of the Baby Glen.
It's just funneling it all in.
But it is still, like I said, very characteristic of a bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said.
All right. Well, since I'm hosting this thing, we've got a rating system of nose, palate, finish, and price. So we're going to go ahead and
Never
start
pull
with that.
fleshy piercings.
There you go. Somebody has to add that in. So what would you go with on the nose on this one? I love the nose on this one, man.
I would give the nose a 4.
The 4, yeah,
Honestly.
that's right where I'm at too.
I'm kind of restraining myself a little bit because while I do like the smokiness that's on there, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I do think that in this instance, it complements the product really, really well.
Yes.
So that's mostly where I'm coming from. But that being said, I really enjoy this nose. It's spectacular.
It is. They balance it out really well. There's a couple of the peated stuff that I've had, specifically like the Backsetter Rye. It felt like it was a unneeded addition, you know?
Yeah. I want to say this before I forget it. I would love to see this finished in a sherry cask.
Oh, okay.
I would absolutely love seeing whatever would happen to it if you put it in Oloroso casks.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Like a dessert wine.
Kind of, yeah. I don't think port is right for it. I think port would be too heavy. But if you take something lighter like a sherry, I think that would kind of round this out in a really interesting way that would introduce a little bit more sweetness to it as well.
Yeah, no, it is 100% savory.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there is
Absolutely.
nothing sweet about it.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just, do what we've done in the past and take a little water dropper or whatever and put a couple of drops in to see if that changes it at all. But regardless, it is incredibly savory. You're right. I'm going to also give the palate a 4.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
It's just, again, like I said, it just takes the bourbon and sends it into overdrive.
It does.
The smokiness. Have you ever had liquid smoke?
I have, yeah.
So I feel like at times Scotch can taste like the artificial liquid smoke.
I can get behind that.
This does not taste inauthentic. This tastes super, super natural and real. And I think that, as we were talking about with the grains that they have in their product and where they source from, I think all of that is really well reflected in the overall quality of this product.
Yeah.
I think this tastes great. I think the finish is my only downside.
Okay.
I don't think it's incredibly long. I really would have expected a hug at this proof, but I'm not getting much of it. Yes, the flavors are still lingering, but it's just not my favorite part of this. I'm going to give the finish a 3.
See, I actually went significantly higher on the finish.
Really?
I think that's my favorite part. And part of it is I've had this already before I had anything else to drink. The finish is long. I think the flavor-wise, what it adds, the peat is where it shows up on the finish, man. It's in that wheelhouse. That's where it shows up is right there at the end. I give it 4.25.
Wow.
Now, the only demerits I have on it, if this is the first thing you have to drink, that finish gets like slightly bitter, has a slight bitterness to it, and it almost sits in your throat like you swallowed a cinnamon candy. Not in a bad way, but it gives you that like, oh man, I need to like breathe for a second kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know? flavor-wise, fantastic, but it's literally like halfway down your esophagus. You're like, oh my gosh. It's like when you swallow a pill almost and you didn't quite get it down.
It gets stuck.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling so much.
But it kind of like all the flavors are good. It's all good. It's well-rounded. It has a lot of honey, a lot of oak, a lot of age that it doesn't actually have. And then it just has that weird like kind of hot feeling.
You know what? After having my last sip of it, I don't disagree with you. And I'm actually going to bump it up to a 4.
Cool.
It has, and something about this last sip really has done wonders for the overall quality of the finish. Where I am picking up some of those oakier notes, the honey is definitely present. It seems slightly to be more like honeysuckle, and there's even kind of like a melon note on there too. Towards the back. That light citrusiness is peppered throughout. But it's man, this is a great product.
Right? I'm excited to be able to pick this up on a regular basis.
Can I just say, too, I think this is proof, bourbon pun intended, that it doesn't have to be made in Kentucky to be great.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And, one of my favorite discoveries last year was Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof, which is another non-Kentucky whiskey that I would kind of put in the same echelon with this, in the same tier, because I think that they both are just stellar for what they are. Great job, Kings County.
Absolutely, man.
We've always been a fan of theirs. And we haven't really said much about it just because we haven't had the opportunity to. But I'm putting it out there, man. Kings County, watch out.
Yeah. It's good.
They're gonna blow up.
It's going to be one of those things, too, that just what you described. Yeah. It's like, it's non-Kentucky distillery. It's like, fine. It's not like the most overwhelmingly interesting bottle. It doesn't have like a crazy amount of artwork, but it's just plain and simple. The packaging. It looks like you picked up an experimental something or other, and somebody put on just a nice label on the bottom.
To be fair, I think that the bottle and the packaging and all of it kind of looks like a moonshine style product. Like it's made in Grandpappy's basement and. You're not supposed to tell nobody about it. But.
Yeah, that's fine with me, man. And lastly, for the price.
Yeah, I don't know what the price is on this one.
Right at $100.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's got a lot going for it. This is you got to keep in mind, though, this is a selection peated cast strength. So they usually do their regular peated not at cast strength, and it's not a selection, so it's not a single barrel. And it's also, just readily available. This is one store. So I gave it a 3.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
And I'll try to justify it in this way. While this is a young product, it does still drink like one that is of higher value.
Yeah.
It definitely maintains an air of this could easily be 10 to 12 years old. So the one downside of it, I think, not the one downside of it, I gave it a 3.5, is that if they're charging $100 for a 4-year-old product, what's that going to mean if they get up to 8 years old?
I don't know, but I'll be honest. If their 4-year-old is this good, I don't think I'm concerned with finding an 8-year-old.
Well, that is fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
And I love that for them because we just tried on this episode alone some other stuff that's close to that 4 to 5-year range, and I don't think many of them held a candle to this. Now, granted, we got the proof to back it up. We got some additional stuff going on in this one, but I don't think there's many people putting out a product this strong with this amount of years. New Riff and Wilderness Trail are about all that comes to mind in the craft scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
and
it.
even then they don't get that high in proof.
No, but think about this: a Wilderness Trail, Select, 115, 114, one of the higher ones.
At most.
Yeah, I mean, those are at least of this quality. You get an old 113 pick, from New Riff. I think it's of this quality.
Fair.
Yeah.
So, and I think you kind of put into words what I was thinking as I was working my way backwards
We
through.
finish each other's sandwiches, yes.
We do indeed.
Yeah.
The $100 is a lot of money.
It is, yeah.
But this, I feel like, has worth and value to it.
Yeah, and this specific bottle has a lot of interesting qualifiers
Yeah.
that I think get closer to that $100 range. I do think if it was just a regular cast strength and it wasn't a single barrel and it was batched and it was still this peated, maybe 60. If it was just the regular, like 50, probably.
Yeah, sure.
45 to 50. Either way, worth it in my mind. It puts me at a 15.25.
Yeah, and I'm at a 15.5.
Yeah.
So
It's a definite recommend.
it is 100%.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if each selection is going to be of this caliber,
Yeah.
but at the same time, give it a shot if
Absolutely.
you can afford it.
And shout out to Midtown Corks for doing a great selection.
Indeed. I might have to get in contact with your
Oh, yeah.
seller for this.
Yeah.
Man, that's good. I am definitely going to have to steal some from you for steak.
Absolutely.
Steak tonight.
Absolutely.
So,
All right. Well, that wraps us up. We got tips and bits left, man.
we do.
You got any good tips and or bits?
I do actually have a good tip and or bit. I am, for the first time, working my way through Community.
Okay.
Yeah. I had started it a couple of times, but for whatever reason, it just didn't take. And so now I am just knees deep into...
Where are you at season-wise?
I'm in season 3.
Oh, yes.
I'm halfway through it. I just got done with the... Oh, shoot. Oh, the episode where they're all... they're having to pay off Abed's debt because he's hiring celebrity impersonators. And Jeff is on severe anti-anxiety medicine.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
This season 3 of Community so far is one of my favorite seasons of television, hands down. Hands
man.
down, one of the best seasons of television I've ever watched.
Community is one of those shows that grips you the second the cast is figured out.
Who they're supposed to be.
Who they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's the same with Parks and Rec. It's the same with The Office.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The second that Abed and Troy get that apartment together, it's just all downhill from there, man. It's fantastic.
That's that episode where Annie moves in is sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
Too. I don't mean to spoil anything, but the episode where Annie moves in with them and Jeff is trying to avoid and he has to go sing Kiss from a Rose with Dean Pelton. I was crying laughing.
Yeah.
At that entire scene. There's just something I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons as well. But season 3 started out so strong. And it's like it hasn't stopped.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
It absolutely has just gone off the rails. I'm trying to think, what's the episode before? Oh, the episode before the impersonators one is the one with the wedding.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that one's
and it
good.
featured maybe my favorite line in the entire series where Jeff goes, "Will somebody please explain to Britta what an analogy is?" And she goes, "I know what it is. It's a thought with another thought's hat on it." It's like, that's just so good.
Yeah. Oh man. It's fantastic.
Anyway, that's my big one right
Yeah.
now. Oh, I'll also recommend another one. YouTube show or YouTube channel, and this is more for the people who are like me and also are music nerds, but his name's Samurai Guitarist. And he's very, very dry in his humor. And like I can't even show you stuff that I find funny because it's so music based.
You just buy into it
That
because
you
it's
would,
what you know.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
you would just be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But Anyway,
That's fair.
He's really, really good. If that's your kind of thing, go check him out.
Yeah. I've been watching a new show called Imposters. I forget if it's Imposter
I've
or
not heard about
Imposters.
it.
It's hilarious, man. It starts off with this guy basically just getting ripped off by this girl that he was about to marry. Realizes her entire life is just her being a con artist. And then he meets up with somebody else eventually and realizes that was the same thing that happened to him. And then they find another person, and it's the same thing that happened to her. And so they all track
this.
They all track her down. And because they had all their money stolen, the only thing they could do was resort to conning people to get money to find
fantastic.
her. And then they catch up and they're just like, oh, if she doesn't keep doing this, we're all gonna die because we're associated now. And so it's just comedy of errors, man. It's just fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, that one's always a good one to watch. 2 seasons, so you can get into it for a while and have something.
What's it on
to watch.
Netflix?
Yep.
Yeah. The old Netflix curse of 2 seasons and then they cancel you.
Yeah. Yeah.
6 seasons in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's all my tips and bits.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up. I don't have much in the way of socials, so I'm going to plug mine, and then you've got a big spill after.
I do.
Yeah, so...
The same spiel I give every week.
Absolutely. If you need to follow me, it's going to be on Instagram at SwanTBF, and I will hand the rest of the episode over to Perry for his plugs.
Well, thank you, Swan, for leading a really fun episode.
Absolutely.
This
Some
was
validation,
Wonderful. I'm on cloud 9 about the fact that I can continue to recommend Turkey 101 to people. If you want to follow up with the show, it is at My Bourbon Pod on all social media channels, as well as myself at PRedder1492. You can send questions or comments to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. You can leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcatcher app. Let me check real quick. I don't think we have any new reviews this week, but if you do leave us a review, we'll actually read it out here on the show, unless you don't want us to. I mean... it's fine either way. No, we have no new reviews this week, but that is one of the best ways for you to help the show out if you cannot do so on things like Patreon or Snuffy Chats over on our live stream that happens every Thursday night on youtube.com/thisismybourbonpodcast. But the reviews help push us up in the algorithm of the Apple Podcast app. It shows other people. If you just search for Bourbon Podcast or Bourbon or whatever, we pop up there. I think we're like the 6th or 7th that comes up when you search for Bourbon.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So we appreciate everybody for supporting the show, as you always do. Like I said, live streams, youtube.com/thisismybourbonpodcast every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Let's see what else. All of our apparel and merchandise is found at bourbonshop.threadless.com, including skateboards, which somebody's got to buy one. We mention it way too often. Like, just one person, I want to see them buy a buy a skateboard. I think it would just be amazing.
Oh, yeah. It'd be great.
Not you, though.
No, I mean...
You don't need a skateboard.
If no one gets one by your birthday this year, you're getting a skateboard... for your birthday.
I guess I'm going to learn how to skateboard this year.
Absolutely. We're going to do an entire series on Perry learning how to skateboard.
This is Perry before he drinks and trying to skateboard. This is while he drinks. And this is after he's been cut off.
Oh my gosh.
This is on the way to the hospital. And last but not least, you can become a supporter of the show at patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. For $5 a month, you get the bonus content, which includes the pregame chats, which come out every Tuesday before the Wednesday episodes. And now, again, as we started up last week, the last call, which is always just an insane time. And we're gonna get back to those heavily edited episodes eventually. Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll get there. Not yet. Maybe after you come back from sabbatical.
Yeah.
But that does it for this week. Swan, do you want to send us out?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
How do I do this again? Oh, right.
Say thank you.
Thank you guys, and I'm Swan,
and I'm Perry,
and this is my Bourbon Podcast.
Hey, you said the thing. You did it.
I did it. Thank you.